Hey, so we have learned about how to name our chains of hydrocarbons. We've learned how to name them when they have double bonds and triple bonds. We've learned how to name them when they have branches that aren't just carbon atoms. We've learned how to name them when they have alcohol groups attached to them. And today we're going to learn how to name them if they have rings of carbon atoms in them. So let's go ahead and take a look at ringed carbon, like carbon rings. So we've seen carbon atoms form long chains, right? And sometimes those chains can kind of loop back on themselves to form a ring. And for molecules that have ring structures, oftentimes, we might draw a Lewis structure, but look at this Lewis structure. This thing is so complex and there's so much going on there. So oftentimes drawing these Lewis structures just gets kind of out of hand. We're not going to draw the Lewis structure. It's much simpler to draw the skeletal structure. Look at the skeletal structure for this thing. Way simpler, right? So oftentimes, usually we just kind of ditch the Lewis structure and we draw the skeletal structure because it's a whole lot simpler, right? Let's talk about how do we name something like this, right? Naming just a simple ring by itself, a carbon ring. Well, we're going to first start naming it as though it were a straight chain. Let's just pretend it's not a ring. Pretend it just kind of goes in a straight line, right? So first I'm going to count how many carbon atoms are in this. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon atoms. So 6, the organic prefix for 6. It's hex. And then there are no double bonds or no triple bonds. This is an alkane. So I'm going to end the word with ane. And then because it's not a straight chain, it's a ring, I'm going to stick the prefix in front of there, cyclo. So that particular one would be called cyclohexane. What if we have a branch coming off of a simple carbon ring? Okay, let's take a look at this and let's name this. First let's name the ring. How many carbons do we have in the ring? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there are no double or triple bonds. So again, hexane. And because it's a ring, we'll put that prefix cyclo in front of it. Cyclohexane. And then let's just name the branch, okay? You see we have one fluorine there, so that would be fluoro. Now, when we need a number to indicate which carbon it comes off of, in this particular case, it doesn't matter. So we could just call this fluorocyclohexane. But when we do need a number, which carbon is going to be the first carbon? Let's take a look. So now I have two different groups in different places here, right? So what I need to do is I need to be able to number the carbons so that I can, say where they are. So first, name the chain. It's the same chain that we've seen before, cyclohexane. 6 carbons, no double or triple bonds. Cyclohexane. Okay, and then let's take a look at our branches here. We have a branch from here and here. So let's go in alphabetical order and let's make this the first branch we're going to name. So we'll call the carbon that it comes off of carbon number 1. And then I can number around the ring this way, or I can number around the ring this way. And I want to number the way that's going to give me the lowest numbers. So if this is carbon 1, then I want to number this way, so that'll make this one carbon number 2. Alright, let's name our branches here. So my first branch is that bromine coming off of carbon number 1. So I can call that 1 bromo. And then we'll name that fluorine coming off of carbon number 2. 2 fluoro. So that guy right there is 1 bromo, 2 fluoro cyclohexane. what if we have a carbon ring attached to a carbon chain? So here I have a carbon ring that's attached to more carbon atoms, right? Well, you can look at it in two different ways. There's really two different correct ways that you can name this, okay? First, let's look at it the way that we've been looking at the other examples here. Let's name the carbon ring first. Okay. This carbon ring has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. So we would call this just like the other ones in the other examples, cyclohexane. And then we could name the branch. You see the branch has 1, 2, 3 carbons in it. So we would call that prop. And since it's a branch, we'd end that with YL. And since there's only one, it doesn't really matter which carbon it comes off of. So we don't really need a number for that one. So we could call this propyl cyclohexane. We could also name this a different way. Sometimes what people will do is they will name the chain of carbon atoms as though that's the main chain. So what would I call the main chain if we had 3 carbon atoms in there? I will call it propane. And then they'll name the ring as though it's a branch. So you remember this was cyclohexane. But instead of naming it like a branch, we're going to name, instead of naming it like a chain, we're going to name it like a branch. So instead of cyclohexane, cyclohexyl with the suffix YL to show that it's a branch. So you can name it either way, either propyl cyclohexane or cyclohexylpropane. Both are correct. Okay, kind of the caveat to that, where you could have more than one that's correct. If you have a multiple bond, then that multiple bond has to be in your main chain. Okay, so if I had this particular case, notice I've made that one a double bond. Now I can only name this one way. I can't name this this is the branch anymore. Now I have to name this as the main chain. So here my branch would be cyclohexyl, because this has to be a branch now. And then I would name that main chain to, let's see, P, because there is a double bond in the middle there. How about one that looks like this? This is we could call this a ring with a couple of different branches that come off of it. So let's name the ring here. There's 4 carbons in that ring. So this would be cyclobutane. Bute meaning 4. And then we have 2 branches coming off of there. Let's call branch number 1, 2, 3, 4. So that this methyl branch right here comes off of carbon number 1. So I'll call that 1 methyl. And then up here coming off of carbon number 3, I have an ethyl branch. So 3 ethyl. So that one we could call 1 methyl, 3 ethyl, cyclobutane. How about this one here? Let's take a look. We've got a carbon ring here with 6 carbons in it. So again, that's cyclohexane. Okay. Let's see, we've got a methyl branch here, and we've got 1, 2, 3 carbon branch. That would be propyl right here. So let's name these. Let's name this one first. Call that carbon number 1. And then this would be carbon 2, carbon 3, and so on. Right. So that methyl branch is on carbon number 1. So we would say 1 methyl. And that propyl branch is on carbon number 3. 3 propyl. So that one we could call 1-methyl 3-propyl cyclohexane. So there's a little bit about how we write the names of compounds that have carbon rings attached to them. So fun stuff there. Now we can name hydrocarbons that have just a straight chain. They have double bonds, triple bonds, branches of stuff that's not carbon, alcohol groups, and now chains or rings of carbon atoms. Great fun. So until next time.